Well, hello, hello, hello. I can actually say good morning to everyone. I'm Clarissa Myers, better known as Recie by many of my friends. Good morning to you. And usually I come live every morning, but for the last, I say 4 weeks, I've been kind of helping out with substituting, school here in the Richmond area. But I'm off today simply because the flu has been going around, and so a little bit, well, less than half the population, almost half the students are out sick with the flu. So today, we're just, I have a day off. So I thought I'll come to you live. I normally do it in the afternoons, and you see, I'm by myself because usually Roland does it with me. Roland is my husband, for those of you who don't know. And I'm a morning person, have always been. So he's better in the afternoons, and he wasn't ready to get up this morning. So I'll just go on ahead. And I'm just going to share with you, by the way, I'm speaking to spiritual entrepreneurs. Spiritual entrepreneurs are people who have decided within themselves they are not content in just settling. They know that they have a specified purpose, and they are, they want to do more, want to be more, want to fulfill more lives. And yes, and I am a spiritual entrepreneur, and I'm speaking to others likewise. So today I'm going to continue what we started with on, let's see, today's Wednesday. On Monday, Roland and I talked about connecting rather than just communicating. A lot of people communicate. They talk. I do have a tendency to talk too, but connecting with someone. And so we're going to develop that a little bit more by talking, how do you actually connect with people? So I was listening to Tony Robbins. Sure, many of you might know him. I need these. And Tony Robbins talked about some strategies that can be used to develop your connection, to establish rapport with people. How do you establish rapport? Well, okay. All right, I hope I'm still live. Okay. We all know that using words to communicate is just one aspect. In fact, it's only 7% of communication skills. There's 93% of communication skills that's left untapped. And so Tony Robbins went into a little bit more discussion on how we can tap into that 97% in terms of communicating and connecting with others. Oh, good morning, James. I can wave to you. And good morning, George. Thank you for joining us this morning. Sequa, I hope I said that right. Good morning to you. And I think I saw somebody else. Yes, good morning, Sonia. Thank you for joining. So how do you build or establish rapport with others? Some people think, oh, yes, just ask them questions. And when they communicate, that's rapport, and that's not rapport. He talked about, perhaps going into a restaurant, maybe sitting at the bar, to order some drink or whatever, and you stop and you ask someone a question. Have you ever tried to talk or establish rapport, asking a question, and the conversation just didn't go anywhere? It just went, nosedive down like a bomb? Because questioning, that is, a lot of us think that that's the way to establish rapport, and it's not. He talked about some of the non-communicating, non-verbal communications. By the way, he said rapport is powerful, and what it means is it is a relationship of responsiveness, where somebody's responding to you. It's a back and forth exchange. And to establish rapport, there are lots of other techniques to do that. He says rapport is established or created by a feeling of commonality. And we talked about that on Monday, establishing common ground. So you have to feel connected to that person in some kind of way. He says, if you can use this one method, which is called matching and mirroring. If you go to a restaurant. Let's say you sit down and someone is sitting diagonally from you or across from you or something like that. You can try this out. You try out this experiment. You sit, you watch them, and whatever they do, if they take a glass and drink from their glass, even if your drink is empty, you do exactly what they do for about 5 minutes, no more than 10. So you start doing what they're doing for about 5 minutes, 10 max. And after a while, everything that you do copying them, when you start doing something out of the ordinary, like they didn't take a drink, you just took a drink, they're going to subconsciously start mirroring you. So it's called matching and mirroring. He says, just being in close proximity with someone for a period of time, you start adopting or adapting their habits. And the same thing, they start adapting your habits, because this is that mirroring effect. He says, the third point he made is style. Talked about style. Style is more important than substance initially. Style is more important. He says we can use, when you speak with someone for the first time, let's say on the telephone, if your voice is raspy, or if you're sick, for instance, you're probably not going to want to meet someone for the first time or have a conversation on the phone. Maybe you postpone that or reschedule or something. But let's say you get on the phone and you have a high-pitched voice or very nasal. It could rub somebody the wrong way. That breaks that connection. He talked about tempo, the rate or the speed in which you talk. Some people speak really fast, like just speak fast. I'm not a fast talker. And just talking so fast can put someone else off, or even if you speak really, really slow, it's like, hurry up already. So there are other things other than questioning. He talked about the expressions on your face. I know this one person, every time I see that person, they always have a scowl on their face. It's like they're smelling something bad. It's like, what's going on in your life? Eye contact, using eye contact, it doesn't mean that you're going to stare them down, but you establish eye contact. If you're constantly looking away, someone is talking to you and you're looking everywhere, the connection is broken. They're not really into what you're saying. So eye contact. He says even breathing. And he used the example of, he's a marriage counselor. And many young couples, they reach out to him like, hey, we need an appointment with you. He said he's backed up for like 6 months in terms of scheduling people to have sessions with him. And they're like, please, I'll pay you anything. What can I do to get that bond, that closeness with my spouse? He said, before he agrees to anything, he asks them a few questions and he gives them an assignment. He says, go home and really get intimate with your wife or your husband or whatever, and match the breathing, because when you breathe in the same flow, that connects you with your spouse. And he said most of the time they never have to call him back. He says in his entire career, only one couple has had to call him back to get further counseling or ways to reconnect with their spouse. He talked about touch, and this the sensation of acuity or sensory acuity he talked about. If you meet someone for the first time and you both establish a handshake, hi, great to meet you. If they give you a nice firm handshake, you give them back that handshake. He talked about, you shake somebody's hand and maybe they put their other hand on top of your hand. Then with your hand, to show that bond is still there or that connection, you take your other hand and put on top of that. So I didn't tell you that. That was the fourth thing. The fifth thing, pacing, no, it was match. Mirroring and matching, yes, match what they do. So if you're sitting down in a session with them, you're crossing your legs. Not you, but they cross their legs. The person who you are meeting with, they cross their leg. You don't have to do it right away, But, as you're talking, then you cross your leg. If they put their hand to their face or do something, you don't have to do it right away and like matching everything blow for blow, but you gradually repeat or match their action. If they're talking fast, then you match that pace. Talk fast. That would be something I have to practice, I tell you right now. But if they're talking slowly, then you match that pace. You talked about close proximity. Some people, we all have a personal space, and we feel a little bit put off if somebody kind of invades that space. So if you can look at them, he says there's a vein or something that pops out here. You can tell, look at their body language and tell if they are comfortable. If they're comfortable and not put off, if they start backing up, you've cut off that connection. He also talked about I said that, breathing, gestures. Repeat the gestures. When you do those things, it helps you to connect with them. It helps you to establish rapport. Then they say, oh, this person is really cool, because people are attracted to other people like themselves or like somebody that they want to become. That's what they, and he's been studying people, and he mentioned someone who he's gotten much of this information from. I failed to jot it down, but I can always go back and find it. So being able to establish rapport, to deepen the connection with others, is very important. And there are many other ways to do it. I mentioned some of those that he said, but a lot of us just gravitate to questioning, and that is only 7% of the communication skills that we use. Lastly, he says pacing and leading, and it is also called entrainment. That's what he says. It's called entrainment, and I think I mentioned that to mirror the actions of someone for 5 to 10 minutes, and subconsciously they will then start mirroring your actions. He says, try it out in any restaurant that you go to, anywhere there are people. You do it. And he made reference to women. Women have that our chemistry. When women are in an area for a long particular period of time, menstrual cycles, they all have the cycles around the same time. So there's something with our physiology that I'm still connected. Okay, I'm still connected. So I was very impressed with what Tony core with others, and it's something really to consider and to use as we engage and interact with other people. So I don't know if anything that I've said resonates with you. These were not my concepts. I've just been listening to and studying people, learning about how we can better be effective leaders. We have to consider all of these aspects as we go about. So, several people have come on. Let me just say hello real quick. Good morning, Laverne. Glad that you can join me, Laverne. Hi. Usually Roland is with me, but he wanted to rest a little bit. And if anything that, like I said, resonates with you, do share this out, because these are some things that we need to know to be better leaders in our communities, in our businesses, in our personal lives. And also in the description, I do have a link to doing Facebook Lives, where you can get the training that you need to do it. The more you do it, the better you get. And I am definitely someone who is growing in this area. I certainly appreciate you joining me this morning. And tomorrow, well, I'll probably be doing it at 5:30. Well, we'll see. We'll see how the time goes. And I will see you tomorrow morning at 8:30, 8 o'clock. Have a great day. Bye now.